I kind of think of Shelley as like the Justice League. Everyone talks about, Brindley Cannon, but they're kind of like the Justice League. They just have a nice set of characters that back them up.
When it comes to high school sports, East Idaho never gets its due.
I ran into Jeremy Hess, the AD of Grace Lutheran, and, he was just excited. And then, I'm just talking to him and he goes, we have 7 girls. So just amazing.
But the East Idaho Prepcast has changed that, covering the biggest sports stories from Salmon all the way down to Bear Lake.
And again, Grace is always that team just kind of lurking, like, yeah, there's Grace. They, they don't have social media, but you know what? They have footballs, they got grass, and they got pads, and they use all those very well.
It's the East Idaho Prepcast with Sean Kane on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. Welcome to another edition of the East Idaho Prepcast. But wait, this is the crossover edition, folks. Crossover of the North Idaho and the East Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, breaking down the top stories from Districts 1, 2, and 5 and 6 of Idaho high school athletics. We're going to bring in our insiders and experts in a moment. But remember, you can watch this show on IdahoSports.com's Facebook page, YouTube channel, or X account. You can also listen to the show on IdahoSports.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the East Idaho Prepcast and the North Idaho Prepcast to know when each one drops, and you can get that great information, only the information you get from here on both Prepcasts. Let's bring in our insiders and experts now. The one and only Ryan Scaggs from the North Idaho Prepcast and Sean Kane.
Sorry, I was doing a little light reading. 11 Rings, Phil Jackson, just before the Prepcast. Sorry, caught me off guard. Welcome. Hi.
I should have been reading some Sun Tzu and reading The Art of War, but yeah.
We're off and going, everyone. That's Sean Kane from the East Idaho Prepcast. You know him. He's your East Idaho expert and insider. Of course, those North Idaho fans, Ryan Scaggs from the North Idaho Prepcast. Again, breaking down the top stories from Districts 1, 2, 5, and 6. It's a great crossover episode, guys. Ryan, are you excited to be here? Sorry we couldn't do a North Idaho, East Idaho, correlation intro. But so you had to have the East Idaho Prepcast intro, Ryan.
It's all right. I mean, I'll have to roll with it tonight, but we'll get our shots in throughout the evening, I'm sure. So I'm looking forward to doing it. Finally being able to do a show with Sean and you, and you guys do a great job. And credits where credits due. And you guys, hats off to you in East Idaho. And it's all about the kids, anyways. I mean, we wouldn't have a show to talk about if we didn't have the kids here in the state of Idaho to talk about in such great communities. So, yeah, lucky to be here.
Right on. And Sean, thank you for being willing and able to allow Ryan Scaggs to grace our screens. We know that's hard for you, Sean, to share the limelight with another insider and expert. But appreciate you allowing Ryan to be here.
Well, great champions get great people around them, and that's what we've done tonight. Is we've assembled the great people of broadcasting, inside information for Idaho as a whole. I mean, when you get everyone when you want to be the best, you get the best people around you. And that's what we've done tonight. And I couldn't be more happier to be here. So got the best team assembled. We got Captain America up there, Joel. We got the Hulk right there in Ryan, and, Tony Stark, whatever. I'm rich.
Wait. So the Shelley Russets girls basketball team from last year is
Justice League.
Is the Justice League, and we're the Avengers. Okay, yeah. Got it. Solid. Hey, dude, we got a lot to get through. We're going to be highlighting North Idaho Prepcast athletes teams, biggest stories, of course, East Idaho athletes teams, biggest stories from East Idaho. Let's get started, guys. We'll be going back and forth between North Idaho, East Idaho. But first, we want to start with what we do here on the East Idaho Prepcast is our athlete and team of the week. Our athlete of the week, everyone, has got to be the freshman phenom, Ella Wilson. Ryan, give us a little background on Ella Wilson from Coeur d'Alene High School and what she did this last weekend at State Golf.
Yeah, so Ella Wilson, she's a freshman for the Vikings on the girls golf team. Shoots a 73 and a 77 in her 2 rounds of state, and then wins a playoff on a birdie to defeat Ella Arnzen. It was a battle for the name for Ella's. Yeah. And of Timberline, and becoming the first state champion in Coeur d'Alene history for girls golf. So huge week for Ella Wilson, getting that state medal. An awesome finish by that Viking team as well. They did a great job this year. And North, I mean, in the 5A and 6A looked really, really good at state golf on the girls' side this week. Sandpoint girls also finishing third. So, I mean, there's, a lot of hoopla and chutzpah to go around with North Idaho golf. And we obviously, I think, have some of the marquee courses within the state. Some may argue with us, but I'm a little partial. We got some great courses up here. These kids are super lucky to play, and their scores showed it last week. And I heard it was a really good course down there at Highland. So, I mean, to have that hosting down there in your neck of the woods, in your backyard, for Coeur d'Alene to go down there and get a state medalist, that's a huge job and a great job by the Vikings.
Yeah, and you already mentioned this, but Coeur d'Alene girls also got second place. Rocky Mountain won that. Highland got fifth. So congrats to those teams, but congrats to Highland this is the East Idaho, North Idaho Prepcast. We're going to focus on the Northeast Idaho teams. Rocky Mountain did win from the Boise area, but Coeur d'Alene gets second overall. Coeur d'Alene girls, Highland girls got fifth overall, and then we had some more great athletes playing. Right, Coeur d'Alene's Josetta Williams, she got sixth. Shot an 82 and a 70. Highlands Megan Merrill got eighth. She shot 78-84. And then finally Coeur d'Alene's Maddie Riley, she got 13th, shot 82 and 88. The fact that these girls are shooting that well on the Highland course is pretty impressive. Sean, you've been on that course. What's that course like?
Yeah, so the ADs told me the scores were high the first day because the greens are extremely fast. But every AD said was just amazed at how well the Highland Golf Course looked and was maintained. And Travis Hobson of Thunder Ridge, the AD there, even told me it was a hats off to the crew that took care of that, those greens and all that playing area there. They said it was just phenomenal, but played really fast. Everyone shot a little high the first day, and then the second day everyone dialed it in and got those birdies and pars. But the greens were a little fast, and great players adjust, and the great players did, and they took home trophies.
Yeah. And then the Highland girls also were academic champions. So congrats to them. And before we get to the team of the week, we're here on golf, guys. Let's stick with golf. 6A boys, Boise won. Madison got fourth and Coeur d'Alene got fifth. So Ryan, you mentioned that Coeur d'Alene doing a great job with both their girls and boys team. Individual title, though, went to East Idaho's junior, Justin Anderson from Thunder Ridge. Sean, you and I have talked about Justin Anderson throughout this whole season, and Justin Anderson came through in the clutch to win the all-around 6A boys.
Yeah, Justin Anderson, I said, he had a really good shot of winning. Highland is a place they'd played before. Joel chimed in about this, someone from Eagle, and, I always thought Justin was the shoe-in, but two really good golfers. But Justin did a phenomenal, and in talking to Travis Hobson, the Thunder Ridge AD, just said, how this kid just works so hard. He's a team leader. Their team did well all season. I mean, just imagine if all their golfers made it. Maybe Thunder Ridge sneaks in there somewhere in that top 5. But just a great kid. I asked, is he going to go to college somewhere? Because I don't think he's shot anything with an 8 by it all year. And right. He said it's kind of undecided. There's some things in the work, but hopefully we'll find out at some point, and maybe he'll be playing golf on a bigger stage at a college later on in life. But yeah, what a phenomenal job by Justin Anderson.
Yeah, no, we were wondering about some of those players from Boise, but Justin Anderson beat them all. But also from Coeur d'Alene, again, Coeur d'Alene representing Ryan. It's Ben Fock, F-O-C-K-E. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So he got 11th place. He shot 76-75, and then again, Coeur d'Alene's Hunter Packin, yeah. Packin got 14th, shot 77-76. And then for Madison on the East Idaho side, Trey Parkinson. But again, CDA. So I don't know a lot about golf and Coeur d'Alene, but Coeur d'Alene represented big time, Ryan, this year.
Yeah, I mean, both Viking girls and boys teams have been lights out for most part of the season. I think the boys team probably didn't have the finish they were looking for going into the tournament. I mean, I realistically saw them probably being a top 5 team. And they're a solid group, solid program. I thought they really had a realistic chance at possibly getting a team medal, which would have been huge for them. But they did finish 5th, which is respectable. But I think that they looked for some of their other guys to drop their scores a little bit more than what they shot, like Potter and Cook, but still, a respectable finish. I mean, finishing 5th as a team, and with that group, they've had some lineup changes throughout the season. They've had health issues with the group, and they've had guys that were, didn't make it to state on their state rotation that, ended up winning a tournament like 3 weeks ago with like 3 guys out of their varsity lineup. So the top to bottom, the program's in good shape. I mean, they're going to be good for years to come, but I think they probably want a little bit higher finish. I mean, most teams do, but
Right.
Still very respectable for that group. And then 5A too, there's a few individuals from up north that had some really, really good showings too.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into it. Again, we'll go back to our team of the week, but while we're talking about state golf, we're going to continue recapping it. 5A girls, look, Bishop Kelly swept. Bishop Kelly wins overall. But Sandpoint got 3rd right there, Ryan. IF got 5th. Let's continue with the North Idaho. Sandpoint's Taylor Meyer got 8th place, shooting 79-84. And then right behind her, well, maybe not right behind her, but a few steps behind, Sandpoint's Lexi, I'm going to say Toonstra got 13th, shooting 92-82.
Yeah, and Taylor's a lights out golfer. I think, her second round probably wasn't her best golf of the weekend, but still getting a nice 8th place finish. She realistically could have been in that hunt too, in the top 5, top 6 positions. But, and Alexa Twinsher, that lineup altogether, I mean, there's some great players and there's a lot of youth in that lineup. Sandpoint's going to be good for the next few years. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon, but a 3rd place finish as a team is great for that Bulldog group. And, very respectable. Lewiston getting 9th as well. So, I mean, the Bengals were in the hunt as well, their first year at 5A, so they weren't too far out. But, you look at Bishop Kelly's score, 630 as a team. I mean,
it was unreal.
This isn't the District 3 Prepcast, but holy smokes, what a finish for the Knights. That's an unbelievable team score.
Yeah. And on the boys' side, again, Bishop Kelly won. Moscow got 4th. And then Moscow, got 4th. Preston got 5th from East Idaho. And then Bishop Kelly's Will Comstock, he won with a 63-77. Guys, he was -4. He was 4 under par, which is insane. This state was at Burley for 5A. And this course, talking to Scott, oh my goodness, Scott from Magic Valley.
Burton.
Sorry.
I forgot him too.
Sorry there, Scotty. Scott Burton from Burley. No, I was talking to him out of Jerome, part of the Magic Valley Prepcast, one of our great broadcasters out of Magic Valley, and he said you got to be really strong and kind of front 7, front 9, because the course can get really wily if you're not careful on that first drive. So the fact that Bishop Kelly's Will Comstock shot 4 under par was really impressive. But again, close by, Moscow's Chase Lovell got 6th. Ryan Lakeland's Tyler Zachary 7th. And then from East Idaho, IF's Idaho Falls, Noah Salem 11th, Hillcrest's Logan Billings. I'm trying to fire through these guys. Hillcrest's Logan Billings got 12th. So good representation from North and East. Sean, anything surprising there from East Idaho in terms of representation from this side of the state?
Yeah, we kind of hit this. There was a lot of, there was a lot of good people. I just don't think anyone had that one person that was going to kind of take the reins and challenge a BK or a Twin Falls. There's just a lot of good individuals. I don't think there was a team that really had enough firepower. The Preston team that won academic state champions, they're young, they're solid too. I think they're going to be good in the years to come as well. That's a team that's pretty young, so it'll just be interesting to see. But yeah, it was that 5A was it was sewn up pretty easily there by the people in Ada County.
One cool thing, Ryan. Yeah, one cool thing you guys probably don't know about Chase Lovell from Moscow. You might recognize the name if you pay attention to 1A Division II basketball last year and baseball. He actually goes to Potlatch, and he plays at the nearest school with a golf team, which is Moscow. So Chase is actually a Potlatch student playing for Moscow, shoots a 75 and a 73, takes 6th at 5A since there's no 2A golf tournament. Chase, I mean, he's a great athlete. You'll see him light it up on the basketball court and in the baseball field as well. He's a great player for the Potlatch Loggers, but you get a 6th place finish at 5A. That's an awesome job for him. And Tyler Zachary from Lakeland, shoots a 70 in the first round. I mean, he was in the hunt. He was like, 3rd on the leaderboard after the first day, and then 79 on the second day, and kind of lost some steam there, but still a great showing from Tyler. But Chase, I mean, to shoot 75, 73, I mean, hats off to those two guys. I mean, that's a great couple of rounds that I could probably dream of having.
Definitely. Well, and you mentioned, I mean, how close they were in probably any other tournament or even districts or just a dual meet. They would have done great. +4. Chase Level was +4 over par, and Tyler Zach was right behind him +5. So yeah, nothing to shake your head at. Really nice job from those guys. You know, when I wrote Chase Level's name down, Ryan, I thought it looked familiar because I did 1AD2 last year with Brandon Baney, basketball from Potlatch, but I wasn't like, is this the same dude? Or are there two Chase Levels? So yeah, really great basketball player for sure.
Yep.
And then we mentioned academic champions. Hey, remember from the BA 5A girls, Shelly's Mallory Hyam. She was the IHSA, I think, athlete of the week this week, if not last week. She placed 5th. She was a +9 on there. We already talked about both Sam Points players, but wanted to make sure we shouted out Shelly's Mallory Hyam, one of the only East Idaho, if not the only East Idaho girl to place in that top 15, Sean.
Yeah, she had a great year. Shelly's team had a great year. And like I said, it was that Highland course. Everyone shot kind of high on the first day, 81 on her first, and then brought it down a little bit on 78. But the green's playing fast for him. But she played well all year. She was, she led the team to districts, really, right? I think that's what that player of the thing was. Kind of, a team we didn't key in on too much was the Shelly golf team. Surprise, Shelly has good girl athletes. Hot take.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always the case. Very competitive. And if you can hit a golf ball, you can probably hit a potato, right? So
right. Totally. And then let's see. I wanted to highlight one more thing with golf, but I think that's going to do it for golf. So congrats to everyone from State Golf. It's the fact that someone can tee off in front of all these people, friends and family and coaches, newspaper guys. We had guys from from the Post Register, from East Idaho News, watching you tee off on that first hole, whether you were in Highland 6A or at Burley for 5A, has got to be the most nerve-wracking thing ever. And I've never golfed, but I can't imagine. I mean, I think maybe that's more stressful than shooting a free throw with, time expired in front of a bunch of, I just think golf is the most, you got to be so solid in terms of your mental game when you're playing golf, teeing off on that, hole 18 or hole 17, it's really close, or hole 1. And obviously maybe there's some jitters, not obviously, but maybe there's some jitters early on. We know it was both courses were fast, but really impressed with everyone's performance. Okay, let's get back to the team of the week. So we did athlete of the week. We went into golf, State Golf. Team of the week. Sean, why don't you take this one, as our team of the week is going to be from East Idaho. Number 4, Skyline. Huge upset. Defeating first number 5 Shelly, which was a big upset, but then they go in and beat number 1 Blackfoot 3-2 in overtime. Sean,
yeah, and Shelly is a team I talked about. They tied Century, they've tied Blackfoot before, they've tied Idaho Falls, they've they've played a lot of good teams, and then they've lost the teams badly. But we talked about Skyline not being the team you want to play first round. Well, it turned out we were right. They come in, they beat Blackfoot. Blackfoot is team that's looking to win a state championship. They're at the top of the top. They've played very well all season. Really have had very few close matches. But yeah, it was surprising, I think, on paper. But for us, it wasn't a total surprise. A Shelly team a Skyline team that can go in and beat good teams or hold teams accountable in soccer, because sometimes that's all you have to do. You just have to hold them accountable and get a goal and win, and that's what they did. And now that sets up an interesting district tournament. Now Blackfoot's going to have to come through the back door to even make it to state, and Skyline is set themselves up for, maybe not, we're even thinking of getting to state, and now they're in the driver's seat to maybe win districts and go to that state tournament.
Yeah, and remember, for those from the North Idaho side who don't quite know this tournament, we'll bring it up really fast. Hopefully this works for you. We're just going to bring up the bracket. Can you guys see that okay, Sean and Ryan?
Yep.
Got her.
Right on. So for those out there watching on YouTube or Facebook, you can enlarge your screen so you can see this much better. So you got Skyline Shelly. Skyline beats Shelly. And then all of us here on East Idaho are assuming Blackfoot beats number 4. Skyline, Blackfoot's number 1, almost went undefeated this season, if not undefeated, Sean. And then Skyline turns around and beats Blackfoot in overtime. So like Sean said, they're in the driver's seat. Now they play Idaho Falls tomorrow at 4 o'clock Mountain Time. And then if they win that game, Sean, they're district champions. And then they would play the winner. Oh, no, they don't play the winner. Then Blackfoot goes down. Like you said, Sean, they have to come to the back door. Blackfoot plays Hillcrest. Winner of that game tomorrow has to play the loser of this game 5 right here. So that's either Skyline or Idaho Falls. And then the winner also goes to state. So 5A High Country Conference will send 2 teams to state. And man, if you're Skyline, you win now, Ryan, right? I mean, you're from North Idaho, but if you're Skyline, you win now, so you don't have to face Blackfoot.
Yeah, Skyline's got to. I think Skyline has to win this to have any chance, really. I mean, Skyline had lost to Idaho Falls 1-5 and 0-3. So Idaho Falls is kind of been Skyline's kryptonite, and that's a Motion Bowl. That's a big rivalry. So I think they've got to kind of win it. But you look at Blackfoot too. Blackfoot, Hillcrest is no slouch at number 3 either.
Right.
These top teams have been pretty tough all year. And when I say top teams, I mean Blackfoot, Idaho Falls, and Hillcrest. And then Skyline has always kind of been lurking there. So it'll be really interesting. But I think Skyline needs to win this game tomorrow to make it to state. I really do. I think it's going to be hard to beat a Blackfoot team twice.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll close that for now. But congrats for now, Skyline. They have got a lot more to do. But congrats on not only beating Shelley, but then upsetting number 1 Blackfoot in overtime 3-2. All right, guys, let's hit girls soccer really fast. We're not going to hit everything. A lot of girls soccer has gone shock, but we wanted to really fast recap 4A SEIC. That's Southeast Idaho Conference classification 4A. Marsh Valley defeats American Falls 2-0. Marsh Valley wins the district tournament. This is their 13th district title in 15 years. Which is amazing. It's amazing to win 1, let alone 13 in 15 years. They get their auto berth to state. But Sean, this one's a little more significant. Why don't you tell our viewers why this one means a bit more?
Well, the head coach Johnson, it's her 6th overall title, back-to-back titles, but this is her last run right now, right? She's going to retire after this year. She had 2 titles, district titles as a player. They've never won state. They're ready to head to state. She's going to retire to focus on her family and things like that. But, it's just been a great run. Like you said, they've won all these district tournaments, and this team's a kind of a special team. They've really worked together. They've all played together for a long time. They know all each other. So they're kind of looking to take, that next step and compete for a state title. But, congrats to Marsh Valley. Kind of one of those first district champions to kind of get done in soccer.
Yeah, and because American Falls lost to Marsh Valley, they will play Snake River for that second seed and for second, excuse me. And if American Falls wins, they played today. So if anyone out there, part of the East Idaho region or anywhere in Idaho, if you know what that the final score of that was, we'd love to know then who, because whichever team wins that game will play in the play-in. By the way, 4A will take place in Post Falls. For those who don't know Post Falls, what are those fields like, Ryan? Are they turf? Are they grass? Are they fast? Are they slow? Because as we know, soccer, you can have whatever kind of field you want.
Yeah, it depends if it's going to be at the fields at Real Life or if it's going to be at Post Falls High School. If it's the fields at Real Life, they're turf fields, and it's going to be a fast track.
Yeah,
they've been hosting state there for a few years. I know that. At least they held state 3A there last year and the year before. But no, that's a quick field. I mean, that's a quick track for players. You could expect a lot of scoring. It is a really nice facility. It's gorgeous. You got 2 soccer fields that kind of run end to end with each other, and there's lights there. They can play late into the night. It's a really unique facility that we're pretty lucky to have in our community. I mean, they use it for youth sports and stuff too. And my son is in a flag football league there too, so it's pretty nice. He's got his championship game there tomorrow night. But just a little plug for the Wolves. Yeah,
Go Wolves.
So
absolutely.
4A is Real Life Fields.
Yeah,
and then 6A girls is War Memorial Field in Sandpoint, which is
that's a gorgeous facility,
phenomenal.
Yeah. That's like one of the best in the state, right?
Yeah,
it's got to be.
In my mind, that is the creme de la creme facilities in the state. I mean, it's such a cool setting. You're right on the shores of Lake Pend Oreille. If you're a fan and you're on the fence about, if you got a team in East Idaho that's heading that direction, that's a trip you got to put on your bucket list. That is an awesome place to play, whether it's football or soccer. It's an awesome facility. And then the fields are real life. They're both turf. I mean, it's a great facility, and it's going to be a real nice place to play. I think, weather-wise, I haven't looked up to next week, but if they play in this weekend, it's going to be a little rough. But
yeah,
I think turf would be nice, but it was raining all day today here. So the district games up north that are taking place today, I know could get a little hairy. But the draws for state with the facilities that they chose up north, they're going to be looking really, really good.
And 6A boys is Coeur d'Alene High School.
Yeah, which is also turf now too. So
Okay, good. Yeah, and it's interesting. A lot of these teams that have a lot of passing, a lot of touch, once you get on those fast fields, you're set because you know how to pass, you know how to touch. But the teams that kind of more go hero ball, setting it up top a lot, they tend to have a bit rougher time because maybe their touch isn't as soft. Hey guys, we have some updates from Goretti Palacios. 4-1 American Falls wins. So they beat Snake River. So they will do the play-in game against, I want to say it's a Great Basin Conference team. Right, so that's District 4. And then we also have one more here from Chad Ostergar, American Falls 4, Snake River 1, girls soccer score according to Max Preps. So, hey, thanks for updating the Max Preps there. So we have that score. But send that score in to IdahoSports.com. Thanks, everyone, for doing that. So we have those scores. And it's really cool to hear about some of those facilities, right, Ryan and Sean, for those of us we may never get to North Idaho. I hope I can someday go hang out with Ryan Scaggs and watch the Wolves win. But yeah, we'd love to get there sometime. And last time I was up in Coeur d'Alene, I was a teenager. We were driving from Canada. We had done a little camping trip, and it was gorgeous. That's the last time I was there. But anyway, for those of us who never get to these places, whether it's East Idaho or North Idaho, there's some great facilities and gorgeous fields that are a lot that are just great to play. And then finally, one more from Idaho Sports. That score is already on IdahoSports.com. Boom. All right, Paul doing the work from IdahoSports.com.
Don't bring him in.
Hey, let's stay with 4A, guys. A great story coming out of District, I want to say, is it 1 or 2, Ryan?
District 1.
District 1, coming out of District 1 boys soccer. Ryan, take it away for us, man.
Yeah, Priest River, got a win over Orfino 1-0 in the playoff in the district tournament. I believe that may have been the first win in school history, or at least in a long time for Priest River. Athletics at Priest River, as a whole has been on the upswing. That's a team that's, a really cool little town if you've ever traveled through Priest River, but they've been on hard times, a lot of craziness going on with that school district and everything over the last few years. And it's no fault of the kids. It's just kind of the administrative leadership there at the district level. Things have leveled out, and you've been seeing some success in volleyball and in soccer, and football's even having success as you're receiving votes in the poll lately. So Priest River in soccer, obviously, Buell Orfino, they unfortunately lost their next game to Coeur d'Alene Charter, where Coeur d'Alene Charter now playing for the district title against Bonners Ferry in both boys and girls. But Priest River getting that win was pretty big over Orfino. Yeah. Avenging loss after, I think they lost Orfino 4-0 on the 5th of October. So that was a cool deal for Priest River to get that revenge game and get that goal in the 63rd minute. Cameron Howell ended up getting the go-ahead goal for the win for the Spartans.
Yeah, and anytime you can down a team with the mascot of the Maniacs, it's got to feel good, right?
That's right. You guys get the Russets. We get some of the other ones up here. The Maniacs, another all mascot team.
Yeah, right. Well, we do have the Salmon Savages with the bear coming through. I don't know if it works, but it's Salmon Savages. Yeah, and the Shelly Russets, which is my favorite mascot. Although now with the Orofino Maniacs, they're fighting for that my number one seed.
Go look at their logo, and
in the gym. They have a picture of the logo of the guy coming out of.
He's got the hair, right? He's
in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
Really?
But it's painted on a mural size on the wall in the gym. Yeah, it's pretty intimidating.
It is outstanding. And if you knew about the story of Orfino and why they're called the Maniacs, it's right next door to the high school. You can go ahead and pull it up on Google Maps and go look for why would they be called the Maniacs. you'll see the reason why on Google Maps.
Yeah. All right. I'm arrived when the show ends, man. I'm gonna actually, while you guys are talking and getting kind of boring, I'm gonna go over there and hop over and find out. I kid.
Share the parking lot.
That's how they reduce government spending.
That's
shared
right.
Parking lot.
Just send them right over.
Shared ID badges. Your card gets you into school, and
so side note for a story: 8th grade, we played Orfino in football. And
oh man,
we're getting
canceled.
State hospital right next door to the high school. That's why. Yeah. The alarm goes off at the prison, and we had to go shelter in place on our bus until the state police could come clear us. It's an experience I'll never forget. But yeah, that was,
and that's really interesting too, because Blackfoot plays very close to a state hospital in Blackfoot, so you can see it. So their field was very close to it there as well. But I don't know if Blackfoot, maybe someone can chime in. I know they did some upgrades to their football field. I don't know if they had been playing soccer on the football field now, though. I think they have been, but theirs used to be by it too. So apparently that has some correlation with winning.
That's right. Yeah, if you get
that's true. Well, and I mean, on a more serious note, we're killing Ryan. Oh boy. No, on a more serious note, I love, like in college football, isn't it Iowa Stadium, and you have the hospital right there, the children's hospital, and like during halftime they do the wave thing. It's super cool. Yeah.
That's a little more uplifting, Joel. Thank you.
I'm trying to keep it vanilla here.
I mean, you could wave at the maximum security wing and say hi too, but yeah.
So it's never been unsafe there.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, it's one of the more secure places that you could go.
That's true. Paul's chiming in from IdahoSports.com. Fun fact: they were the maniacs before the institution was there. So, Paul dropping knowledge on us, keeping us honest here. Well,
that's not as fun, but
I know it's not on this correlated North and East Idaho Prepcast.
It was named after the bar downtown. Yeah,
that's right. So that's Priest River. So Priest River beats the Maniacs, the Orofino Maniacs. We're bringing us back. I'm like, what? Why? How did we get on this topic? Oh yeah, Priest River plays soccer. They beat the Maniacs.
You wanted to talk about the beautiful fields, right, Ryan?
Hey, Orofino does have awesome facilities, and I will give them that. Their baseball diamond's incredible. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So that's going to do it. And a lot of girls soccer has gone shock. A lot of boys soccer has gone shock. If you want to know more about the district tournaments that are going on right now, hop on IdahoSports.com. It's one of the top links, one of the icons right on top of the website. You click there and you'll find all your 6, 5, and 4 districts in all their tournaments. And it's really good. Paul Kingsbury doing overtime work, keeping all of us updated on for soccer tournaments, Sean.
And yeah, one more that just came in. American Falls boys did win districts tonight.
Okay,
so that has gone.
Congrats to those guys.
Yep. So there you go. American Falls does it again, heading to the state tournament.
Right on. Do you know who's second? Who they were playing? I can't remember. They were playing Marsh Valley. But they also played Marsh Valley.
I believe so. I can't remember. But they just won. I just got that updated from someone.
Right on. Hey, let's move away from soccer. Again, if you want more soccer information, go on the website and you'll get all your district tournaments from all classifications that are participating in soccer. Let's move along to football. Of course, guys, we have the Gem State game day. It's dropped every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Really good time. Ryan, you're going to be on that one with Will Henneke, Paul Kingsbury. Should be a good talk. It's really a fun time. That has our heavy football. We're going to do a little bit of football right now, though, Ryan.
Yeah, every Friday morning.
Friday morning, excuse me.
Yes. Grab your cup of coffee, tune in before all your games on Friday. But yeah, we're going to be doing the show Friday. Correction. Paul, myself, and Will Henneke is going to join us for the Gem State game day this week. Idaho 8 man is going to jump in. So I'm looking forward to that show, and it's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, right on. But we do want to hit a few games that were top games, top stories from both North Idaho and East Idaho regions. First of all, Rigby defeats Madison for the district title. That's a big deal. Madison was maybe vying to see if they could do something, but Rigby takes care of business. They continue to be the favorite, both in the High Country Conference, District 5 and 6 of 6A, but also in 6A overall throughout Idaho. Of course, I know Ryan has something to say about that, but according to Max Preps, Rigby is number one. And we'll get back to that a little bit. We also have Snake River defeating Marsh Valley 20-10. That was an upset, guys. Wide receiver / safety becomes the third string quarterback. His name is Johnny Walker. The dude steps in, having never taken a single snap, guys, and led his team to a victory. Not only a victory, but an upset through a massive touchdown pass to seal the game, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, it's Johnny Walker Purple Panthers is what it is.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. I mean, Snake River, they're ahead in their conference. They're probably, going to come out of Southeast Idaho Conference. I think the best team out of Bear Lake, Marsh Valley, and American Falls. I don't know if it was as big as upset. I think the story behind it makes it a bigger upset. But Snake River is a traditional powerhouse. They've had some years down, but they've played some pretty tough opponents. I think back to the start of their season. Their first game was Homedale. Their second game was Sugar Salem. Their third game was Kimberly, and then they played Bear Lake. But I mean, you went through a gauntlet, and we talked about this before. Where they kind of took some licks at the start. It really prepared them for they've went on now a 4-game winning streak with that win over Marsh Valley. So upset, yeah, I think because you've got this, the third string quarterback, but maybe not. I think maybe Snake River is just a team on the rise and playing well, and now has kind of their destiny in their pocket with what they've got left on the schedule. But it'll be very interesting because Snake River does play Preston in the last game,
right.
and this might come up on the Gem State Prep. But Preston was in the state tournament last week, and now I don't think they are. If I looked up at a ranking from some website that we use in the state of Idaho, they're not now. And that game, so if Preston could find a way to beat Pocatello and Snake River, the bottom part of 5A is mashed potatoes that didn't they didn't make them smooth. They're lumpy. They taste good, but they're hard to go down.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And we've always, 5A, everyone makes it in 5A. If you don't make it, that's on you, man. Right. But yeah, Preston, they're this close, but it's just so ironic that Preston wins. They beat Century by 20 plus points. They were in before that game. They beat Century, now they're out. So yeah, they really need those wins against Pocatello, Snake River. If not Pocatello, it's going to be a tough one against Snake River. But against Snake River, who knows how good this third string quarterback is. Maybe Johnny Walker had kind of no pressure on him, so he just went and played backyard football. But it'd be curious to see if he can continue, his winning ways moving into these last 2 games of the season. Hey, Bonneville, one more big story from East Idaho. Bonneville defeated Shelley 23-22, guys. 2 thrilling wins in a row for Bonneville. This time, it was another third stringer, guys. Sophomore quarterback Jackson Briggs throws a 36-yard touchdown with 35 seconds left, ties the game, and then the kicker comes out, nails the PAT. Defense gets a stop. Bonneville Bees win once again. All right. That's it for East Idaho big games. Again, if you want more of East Idaho football from both recap and coming up, hit on Friday morning, hit up the Gem State game day. Let's hit North Idaho really fast. Ryan, Logos at Kendrick this weekend. That's a big game. We also have CDA Coeur d'Alene Vikings at Post Falls. That's going to be the game of the week. Ryan, what do you got in those 2 games?
So yeah, the game, I mean, there's a bunch of good games up north. I mean, this weekend, if you go look at the schedule, you can tune in Friday morning and we're going to break down a lot of those games. Gem State game of the week is going to be moved also because of that Coeur d'Alene Post Falls game got picked up on television. So the Gem State game of the week got moved, but that Logos Kendrick game is going to be unbelievable. And I think Coeur d'Alene Post Falls is going to be a rock fight. You look at those 2 teams historically. Last time they played at Post Falls, it was down to the last possession. Post Falls ended up getting the win last year. Coeur d'Alene got the win. So you look at these two teams, though, historically, it's been neck and neck, back and forth. You put Post Falls against the wall. You don't put Baby in a corner. They tend to fight back. So, I think I see nothing different this week. If it's going to be a Coeur d'Alene win, I could expect maybe a possession or two victory. If it's going to be Post Falls, it's going to be super close just because of the contrasting styles of the two teams. Post Falls gets in a ton of possessions on offense. And they put in, you'll see their play. Sometimes they hit like 80, 90 plays a game. It's crazy if you watch that team, you're clicking. Coeur d'Alene, their defense is stingy. I mean, that's where they hang their hat, but they've got explosive playmakers on the offensive side of the ball as well. One of the best wide receivers in the state of Idaho. They got one of the better quarterbacks, in my opinion, in the state. They've got two of the good. I mean, you really want to start digging down that roster. They've got their backup quarterback's a stud too. So, I mean, you could break down all these games. That Logos-Kendrick game, the winner, essentially is getting the first round bye in the playoffs.
Right.
So, I mean, they're in the driver's seat for the league championship. And you look at the nationwide rankings. I actually got a text message from Coach Craycraft from Logos. He sent me a message last week saying, hey, I didn't know if you were aware of this or not, but Idaho's got 3 of the top 8 teams in the United States in 8-man football. Kendrick is up there, then Butte County, then Logos is, I think, at 8.
Nice.
So, I mean, you look at what these teams are able to do in the state of Idaho as far as in the 8-man game, it doesn't get any better. This is a tasty matchup Friday night between those two teams. They've kind of been able to dodge each other the last few years with the classification difference. Now it's a league game, and it's pretty much for the driver's seat into the playoffs. So the winner is going to be seeded very high. I mean, if it's Kendrick, it's going to be the 1 seed. If it's Logos, so you could realistically see them as the 2 seed behind Butte County. But yeah, there's some great matchups this weekend, top to bottom throughout District 1 and 2.
Yeah, and then we also have number 1 Aberdeen at number 3 Westside. Those are media poll rankings, by the way. That's going to be a huge game. Sean, that game, tell us about, obviously both those teams have played similar opponents. Who do you got in that one?
Who do I got?
Yeah, Sean, who do you got?
You wish I would tell you to. Here's the deal.
It's in our pick 6, Sean. Who do you got?
How many? I don't know how long I've been doing.
I tried, Ryan. I tried to get him to admit it.
But for the years that we've done the Prepcast, it's pretty much been West Side football, right? You talk West Side. West Side wins 100-10, 90-10. West Side wins football games. West Side's in a little different situation this year. They've lost some games. Is it mean the pirate ship's sinking? I don't think so. I think that ship is going to take as many cannonballs as you can throw at it and still produce great football. But here's the kicker is Aberdeen is just finding ways to win. Aberdeen only gives up 6.3 points a game, for a game, and Westside puts up 33 points. I mean, this has been a battle between these two schools since they've been in the conference. Westside's dominated it. Does Aberdeen finally strike? Does the Tiger finally strike against the Pirate? Maybe. I would find out. I'm hard pressed to even give a prediction on this one, even though I will at some point when the time is right, the mood is right. But Aberdeen, what Aberdeen's done this year is win every game. And they beat Declo 8-0. Declo might give up the least amount of points out of any team in the state. I think they've only give up like 5. So I don't know. I think that conference is so tough, right?
Yep.
Westside.
That
Declo,
conference is basically
and
3A
Aberdeen.
state, right? That conference is 3A, the 3A playoffs, the top teams.
Yeah, and Declo found a way to just kind of beat Westside barely. Declo gives up 5.14 points per game. That's it. And then Aberdeen at 6.3, right?
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's a game that it's going to be Aberdeen's going to Westside. It's going to be tough. If you've ever been down to Dayton, that is another phenomenal small stadium, big mountains in the background. You're a mile away from Preston. and it's just it'll be a good one. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you who's going to win. You're going to have to wait to find out.
Well, I can tell you who's going to win, and it's not going to be the offense, that's for sure. Aberdeen beat Declo. I think it was 8-0. Declo beat Westside 6-0. So I mean, it's going to be, dude. It's going to be one in the trenches. It's going to be very few points scored. I think Aberdeen sinks the ship for now. I mean, it's going to go on Johnny Depp, and that ship's going to come back up in like a ghost or whatever, and they're going to be just fine in the playoffs. But Aberdeen's going to win this game, Sean.
I'll give you some insider information too. Westside is facing some pretty major injuries, so I don't know exactly who's going to be able to play or not, and that will be a big difference. I mean, they don't have a ton of guys, but the guys they do have do their job extremely well. And if some of them can't play, I think you got to lean a little more to an Aberdeen team with Lupe Ortiz, who's just been phenomenal all year.
Yeah, he has been. Hey, here on the East Idaho Prepcast, Ryan, what we like to do is we each choose a game that's interesting to us, and then we pick who's going to win that game.
Okay.
Now, I know we're running into some of the pick sixes, and we don't want to spoil that. So can you give us a game that's happening this weekend that may not be part of the pick six that you're interested in? And Ryan, if you choose whatever game you choose, we also have to pick our winner as well. Does that make sense? And then next week we review it. So each of us gets a pick of a game, an interesting game that's coming up this week. We choose the winner, and then the other two have to choose a winner as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you. Let me open up.
Okay.
He's the guest. We'll let him pick. We'll let him pick the game.
I mean, you've been talking about three. There's a bunch of good games too. That Malad Declo game is going to be a good one too.
Well, yeah, because no one's watching Malad, but they're kind of that sneaky skyline from boys soccer. They might come in and nip Declo.
Yeah, no, you could catch one on any given night. I'm going to give you a game in District 2. Perfect. It's a game that's kind of under the radar, but I think it's going to be great. Kamiai and Potlatch. To me, it's going to be a great game. I look at both these teams. They're very balanced, very evenly matched. Kamiai's defense is very stingy. They don't have the most impressive record, but both these teams realistically are looking at the playoffs. If Kamiai gets a win, especially, I can see Kamiai getting that nod into the 4th seed coming out of the White Pine League. So this is really for pecking rights as that number 4 seed coming out of the conference, because it's very top heavy if you look at the White Pine. I will take Kamiai at Potlatch. I'm going to take the Loggers at home. I think that it's going to be a close game. Like we could see 44-40 type game. I mean, it's going to be back and forth, and I think the Loggers nip them in the end, and they get to saw a log. Every time they get a win, they get to saw a log at the end of the game. So I'll take the Loggers in a tight one on Friday night.
Nice. Sean, who do you got? Kamiai, Potlatch.
Oh, man. I'm going to go based on what I'm looking at right now, and I'm going to go I'm going to also go Potlatch to win, just kind of on some comparables against they've done some other teams. Although as I look through this, I think this is a very a matchup where whoever maybe scores first and gets a lead wins the game, and both teams are able to do that. So I'm going to very reluctantly go Potlatch just on that basis. It could be like 53-50 kind of game is when you kind of look through these scores, and those games are hard to pick. It definitely looks like it's going to be maybe who has the ball last wins this game.
Yeah, I agree. So you got Potlatch averaging 40, Kamiai 38, Potlatch giving up 26, Kamiai 30. Yeah, those are close numbers. Guys, I'm going to go with Kamiai just because I like how they pronounce their name. All right. It looks like it's Kamiai, but it's Kamiai.
They got one of the better. They got a really good couple players on their team too. That Kamiai team is deep. They've got some studs in their lineup too. Both very good coached clubs. It's going to be a great ball game. I mean, we talk about Logos Kendrick a lot in that one, and that's going to be a great game too. But that Kamiai Potlatch game is going to be every bit as good.
And our guest, we had to bring him up. Paul Kingsbury, the boss of this whole maniac enterprise, chooses Kamiai also. So I got Paul's on board with me.
I'm just in the background. I'm not here, but yeah, I definitely think Kamiai is the pick here.
He's like, for a second, I didn't know he was going to pop in. I thought he was just going to talk and he'd be like Kit from Knight Rider.
You're dating yourself.
Siri?
Joel is going, what's Knight Rider?
Yeah, I'm just smiling and
You
waving.
don't know Knight Rider?
boys. I've heard of Knight Rider. I never watched it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah,
Give me that.
just
All
to throw a name out there, Dave,
kicking you out.
Next.
Dave from Camei is the guy to keep an eye on. He is an absolute electric player for the Cubs.
Okay, right on. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, Potlatch's mascot's just pretty cool too. I mean,
the logger.
The logger. I mean, Ryan wears a lot of flannel. I mean, I see the correlation.
That's right. So Sean, interesting game coming up this weekend. I already gave you mine. I won't force you guys to choose because I know it's part of the Gem State, the pick six. But I'm going Aberdeen Westside, and I'm picking Aberdeen, not picking the Pirates. I picked the Pirates once this year, and they failed me against Declo, losing 6-0. I cannot believe someone won a football game 6-0. But so I won't make you guys pick that one. So Sean, you finish this up. What game win? We may not have talked about it, right? Ryan pulled out Potlatch Camei. So Sean, what game is interesting to you that you want to pick?
Let's go a little cross division. Let's go Highlands Skyline.
Okay.
I think that's a great game. I just think that's going to be a fun game. If you want to go watch, well-coached football, that's a game to go watch. You got two great teams, great traditions. Both teams always vying for a championship in their respective division. I think that's a really good game. 9 out of 10 times, I'm gonna pick Highland, but for tonight only, I'm gonna do a Skyline wins this game. I've been a very impressed with Skyline. Their offensive weapons, I think. They can just do so many things, and then they have another guy that can do something, and another guy. Carmine Garcia running that backfield as the quarterback is one of the most dynamic players, I think, in Idaho. Who he doesn't get a ton of credit because he doesn't really have to do much because there's 5 other guys that can do whatever. Crockett, it's just a really good team. And I don't want to bag on Highland or anything. I think Highland's good too. I just think they're just kind of reeling from losing 20 plus seniors that played significant minutes and filling those gaps and finding where guys can take over. So I think it's going to be a really good battle between Skyline's offense and Highland's defense, and where push come to shove. So I'm going to take Skyline right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Highland comes out, fired up after a loss to Rigby and playing for a lot still, looking for an at-large bid. Because like we've talked about on this show before, is when's the last time Highland has not made it to the state playoffs? I don't. Right. Someone said like 30 years. I don't think anyone knows. That's how long it goes. Oh, wait, here comes Paul. No, wait, nope.
So yeah, this game has a lot of interesting storylines, implications. Highland coming off a bad loss to Rigby. They had a bye week last week. Now they're playing Skyline. Skyline is right now the number 1 team according to that one site who will not be named. And they're 5A, and Skyline's, and so they're fighting for that 1 seed. Of course, 5A is 5A, and everyone goes in. But if you're fighting for that 1 seed against the Bishop Kellys of the state, you really would love to get this Highland win. Ryan, who do you got this week with Skyline and Highland?
I mean, the one game I saw Highland in, they went neck and neck with Lake City.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, in Lake City defensively, they only give up 13 points a game. So, I mean, that's a decent defense that, Coach Hout's done a great job with. But just knowing the history, I have a heart. You said like picking against Highland's really tough,
right? It is. I don't know if I've ever done it.
Yeah, the history there is just so.
I feel dirty.
Yeah, and you know what though, but I'm going to go underdog. I don't know if it's even an underdog pick, but I'll take the Rams. I'll take Highland in this one.
Okay.
Just look at that defense. They can still play on the defensive side of the ball. Their offense was a little discombobulated in that Rigby game. They struggled mightily, but I'll go Highland on this one, and because I don't have to face the East Idaho crowd again, so it doesn't really matter.
Hey, we're bringing you back on, Ryan, next week.
It's a win-win. I will say though, if you would have to imagine at this point, Keaton Belknap, the quarterback of Highland, is probably at 100%.
Yeah, he's got to be better.
I don't think he's been at 100% the last few games. Maybe a lingering illness.
Yes.
I mean, in high school, you're probably in the best shape you're ever going to be in, but when you're sick, you're sick. Doesn't matter how good a shape you're in, right? So if he's healthy, I mean, I think that makes a big difference as well. I'm not changing my pick. I'm just throwing that out there.
No, I would agree, Sean. And also, Skyline had a hard time against Madison's line. Madison's line is massive. Ryan, I don't know if you've seen them,
Yeah.
but they're a bunch of dudes. Both sides of the ball are massive lines. And Skyline had a hard time. Highland's line is a little bit smaller than Rigby's. And Rigby's, I remember Rigby's and Highland and Madison's were kind of equal. So I'm curious how Highland's line stacks up against Skyline. That might actually be a really, really close game. But I'm gonna go with the 5A. I'm gonna go with Skyline as well. I'm gonna join Sean on that one. I think it can go either way, but I think Skyline has enough firepower and enough experience to outplay Highland's lack of experience with all those guys who've left. A lot of Highland's games have been close, and I think this one will be close. But I think if it is close, as I think it will be, there's a lot of close, and I think Skyline pulls it out with all their playmakers. But I'll be watching that line, how each line stacks up against one another. Any more thoughts on that game, guys?
No.
All right, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say another interesting game, and it's kind of a crossover game. And since this is the crossover show to kind of keep your eye out, is Madison versus Minico this week. I think is another game that I find very intriguing. How does Madison respond? A Minico team that, by all accounts, is kind of getting shunned. I think a lot of polls and things because they've beaten everyone pretty much. They've played, right? I'm pretty sure Minico's won every game. Although they have one loss to Bishop Kelly, right? 8-20, but then they've beaten everyone else by like easy margins. Pretty much that was the only close game. So that's another interesting one too, with a kind of a crossover theme. Anyways.
Yeah, I like it. And can Preston Sonner Cranny, right? That huge running back who he's a big wrestler, but he's fast and he's dynamic on the ground. Can he get through Madison's line? Can they make enough holes for Preston Cranny Sonner, who he doesn't do anything else but score like 5 touchdowns a game. The dude's a beast. So yeah, that's a great crossover. Guys, we're almost to the hour mark. So let's finish off with some volleyball from both North Idaho and East Idaho. Why don't you take this one, Ryan, from 1A districts? What is it? Is that District 1 or 2?
It's gonna be. You're talking.
I'm talking the White Pine League.
Okay, that's 2A, District 2.
Okay, 2A.
Yeah.
Excuse me, 2A. So yeah, give us that White Pine breakdown. What's going on out there?
All right, so I'll give you the lowdown for you East Idaho folks that may not follow 2A volleyball too much. Troy's really, really good. Their 2 losses this year. Capital is 1 loss, and Central Valley of Spokane, which is a 4A team in the state of Washington. That's their only 2 losses on the season so far in volleyball. 2 very, very good. It's a very, very good team. Coach Blaser does a great job defending state champs. They just wrapped up the league title again last night, 3-1 over Potlatch. So the Trojans they play Genesee tomorrow night for the wrap up. Genesee's down at 1A, so it's a non-league match. They're going to go into the district tournament 14-0, 25-2 overall. I mean, this is one of the premier teams in the state, any classification. This Troy team is absolutely lights out. Could I see them repeat as state champions? Absolutely. 100%. I see Troy being very, very, very tough to beat at 2A. And we've got some good volleyball up here. I mean, you go to the 5A ranks, Lakeland just wrapped up the regular season title in the IEL for the 5A teams. And then, Coeur d'Alene's been playing lights out too up here. So there's been a lot of good play going around. And then even Genesis Prep getting their first league championship in school history, wrapping that up. And they ended up winning their first district game this week last night. So there's a lot of good stuff going on here in North Idaho.
Right on. And tell us, Ryan, for those East Idaho fans who may not know, like you say, a lot of North Idaho volleyball, how would someone like Butte County stack up against Troy? Troy is obviously so dominant, but yeah, how would a Butte County Pirate girls volleyball team stack up against them?
I don't know enough about Butte County to know, but I just know that Troy is good enough to beat a GSL school in Spokane. For them 2-1. I mean, that tells you. I mean, that's their only 2 losses was Capital and Central Valley. I mean, they beat a couple Washington 3A schools from Seattle in that same tournament. This Troy team is the real deal. Coach Blizzard's done a phenomenal job with that program for a while, and they just keep winning. That's all they do is win.
Right on. Well, because Butte County, they're 34-8 overall. They've done similar things, right? They've beat let's see, they beat 5A teams. They beat obviously 4A. They've beat 6A teams. They beat CUNA at the Thunder B Volleyball Classic. So yeah, I'm very curious if they were to match up, what that would look like. Sean, any insight into Butte County?
Well, I mean, here's the deal. Last year, you had this huge battle between Butte and Grace, right, in the 2A level. And Grace finds a way to get a 5-set win on the third, fifth match, whatever. There's two teams they're playing to like midnight at Thunder Ridge, and Grace makes it, right? And Butte County and Grace are like the top two teams besides Troy, right? But only one gets to go. Grace plays Troy twice in that, real 2-loss out bracket as state, and Troy wins. Troy wins the first one 3-1 and then 3-2 in that true championship match. So Troy had to beat Grace twice. But now this year, right now, Butte County's a little more in the driver's seat. But I wouldn't say, hey, that it's set in stone that Butte County beats Grace to even go. So both those teams are very highly competitive there.
I just had to look. Troy has won 4 in a row, looking for their 5th. So.
4 in a row at state, right? 1A and now 2A.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've been a 2A. Well, East
they have been 2A.
1A D1, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah, sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
No, you're good. Sorry, yeah, 4P to state. They're going for the 4P. They won the last 3, but they've won I think it was 2 state titles within that period, within 2 years before that. So no, Troy going for the 4P this year. I see them getting it. This team is like I said, and just with the eyeball and what I've seen. I mean, they beat Lewiston 3-1. They swept Sandpoint. They swept Moscow. Like, they've played the bigger schools and they've taken care of business. This team and Lewiston's really good too. Don't get me wrong. And they beat that Bengal team. This Troy team is legit.
Yeah, that's really impressive. I think let me fix that. I think we finish with this, guys. There's been a lot of talk of 6A with volleyball, 6A, 5A. There's a lot of great teams, both from East Idaho and North Idaho. Do you think across 6A and 5A, which volleyball teams, who's going to take state? They're such good, because we got Madison here at East Idaho, Ryan. Madison is unbelievable. Pocatello and IF is amazing. But do they beat teams like Wood River? Do they beat teams from the Boise area? Because I watch your Pop Prepcast every weekend. You guys are always talking about Lakeland volleyball. Yep. I can't remember the other one. Was it Coeur d'Alene or was it somebody else? Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene. So let's finish with this. Can these teams meet in the finals and get past Boise teams? And if so, who would win that? Ryan, why don't you start first, man?
I think you're discounting some of your other teams that are in that conference too. Like Bonneville's been pretty tough, if I'm not mistaken. They played Lakeland a couple weeks ago. Lakeland wasn't at full strength given,
right?
But ended up taking care of business there. They did go to that Rocky Mountain tournament, did Coeur d'Alene, and did very well. There's going to be challenges, I think, for any of those teams. It's a matter of who gets hot. I mean, Brandon and I at the beginning of the year picked Lakeland, and we're probably some of the only people in the state to really stand on that one. I'll still stand on Lakeland, just with their size and what they're able to do at 4A or 5A. Sorry, I still see the Hawks as they can be a state champion. I mean, that group is so good, and Munier is an absolute stud. She's so dominant for the Hawks, and they're just very, very well coached. That I'll stand on my pick. I'll be the homer and stand on Lakeland to get the champion at 5A. Okay. Coeur d'Alene, I think, is going to have a tougher time at 6. I think there's the balance statewide is so vast that it's going to be just kind of a pick 'em. Once you get past that first round, you could realistically see any of those teams coming out of the second day.
Sean?
Well, 6A, I mean, Madison's the champions until they're not right now. I think Madison, I think they're the team. Here's a team that's also very good, from Southeast or the South Idaho SIAC, whatever it's called this week. Conference, Owyhee, right? They're 12-0 in conference, 24-3 overall. They're tough this year. That's Owyee's just kind of shifted the dynamic in there. You still have a Skyview team that's won every state championship forever in whatever division they're in,
Right.
as well. I mean, they're no slouch, but Madison's got to be a team you're looking. This is the team until we beat them. They're still the champs, and I see them doing very well. In 5A, I think 5A is. I don't know if there's one team that really sticks out to me where I think this is the team that's going to win. I'm looking back at last year Skyview was down in this division, and they play Bonneville in that true championship. It was between Bonneville and Pocatello and Skyview, but Skyview is pretty much really unbeatable. So, a team that's been really, really good and slightly better than Idaho Falls, I think, just due to record and different things, is Idaho Falls. So, between Pocatello, Idaho Falls, Bonneville, you've got a really good matchup. And it'll be interesting to see where everyone ends up and it's said and done, because I think that bracket will be the most important part in 5A. If you get the bracket how you need it to be, right, I think that's who has the best chance. If you've got the gauntlet, because it's true double elimination, you can come back and win it. What team is built to come back and win that true double elimination? Not many have done it. So it's kind of like that. But there's a lot of good teams. It will be a good tournament. You have a Wood River team that was really high, but Twin Falls just beat them in the regular season. So a lot of parity in 5A. It should be a good battle. When it's all said and done, but we got to get through districts, and you never know what's going to happen through districts, right? We can
up north. It's like you wait for the upset because it's going to happen, and it's so common.
And then if that happens, that's where you have the bracket mess up. Not mess up, but become very different than what you picture it. Because if you got the top teams, it kind of fills in the top heavy. But then once you get someone who's not a top team and they win their conference, then they're in there and it becomes very, very interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. You got to take care of business now, but hey, it's here, right? Volleyball districts are this weekend. We got 1A districts happening tomorrow and this weekend, and then next week as well. Everyone is having their volleyball district play next week and next weekend. So we're there, guys. Yeah, don't mess up now. Stay strong, no upsets. But like Ryan and Sean have both said, they're probably going to happen. The question is, who are they going to happen to, and how does that mess up your bracket? Honestly, for 5A, I'll give my 2 cents and we'll get out of here. For 6A, I'm all in on Madison, but they still got to be. Yeah, you got Skyview, and you have Eagle, you have all those Boise teams, and then for 5A. Lakeland, they're number 1 in that he who must not be named bracket rankings, and then Pocatello is right behind them at number 2. So I'm still high on Pokey. I've been following them. They were our team of the week like a month ago, and I've been getting scores from their coach, and I really like how they play. Also, I'm neighbors to some of their players, so no sweat.
On Halloween, yeah,
exactly. So I have to pick Pocatello.
Wow, Joe likes Skyline because his wife went there. Always win football. Now, Pokey's volleyball's good. Oh, I just happened. Wow.
Hey, I keep my friends close. But no, I'm still high on Pokey. But yeah, you got to take care of districts this weekend, next weekend, next weekend, and then state comes by. I do love how volleyball is a double elimination. Right. And I love that it's best out of 5. It's rally scoring, something that pickleball needs to figure out. And it's a lot more intriguing versus, that one game or the single elimination, or if you do lose, you go to the loser side of the bracket, like basketball. Yeah. Guys, this has been a great crossover episode. We got to keep doing this. This has been an absolute blast. We've gone over an hour, but it hasn't felt like an hour. Ryan, come back again, man, or let us come on your show sometime.
Yeah, if you guys ever want to jump on, when we do it on Wednesdays in the middle of the day, you're more than welcome to. But I know that you've got.
Sorry, I gotta stop teaching. I gotta be on a podcast.
That's right.
Full sub in.
Be quiet.
I gotta leave my office. I got things to do. Ryan, where are you gonna be this weekend, man? Do you have any games?
I don't. Well, we were going to have Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls, but that one got bumped. So I will be back out in the woods elk hunting again. So
cool. Right on. Now, I think I saw on your social media, you didn't catch anything last time, but you talked about like the scenery or the suns. There was something
I got a doe. I mean, I did get my deer tag.
Okay.
Filled, so I didn't come home completely empty-handed. It was gorgeous. Yeah, North Idaho is one of the more unique. I mean, I've been to Alaska and a bunch of other places, but North Idaho is gorgeous. I just love it here, and it's amazing. And I take full advantage of every chance I get to get outside. And yeah, Idaho's a very unique state. I mean, north to south, couldn't be more different. And each state's got its own unique beauty. So, yeah, I wish you guys all the best. I think you guys got games this weekend, but
no, yeah, Sean, you're this weekend. You're off, right?
Yeah, Paul put me on administrative leave this weekend. I violated team rules. At this time, it's an ongoing investigation, and I cannot. No, I don't have a game.
Oh boy,
I don't have a game.
I will say our Butte County Hagerman game is going to be absolutely a dandy too. I think
that's a good one.
That's going to be a great game.
I'm actually going to head to Salt Lake tomorrow and catch a punk rock show. So
sick. Who's playing, dude?
A band called Neck Deep. Probably never heard of them. And then another band called The Home Team, which is the one I'm actually really want to see. A really favorite band of mine. Very obscure, kind of, but not mainstream. But yeah, I'm going to do that and enjoy the weekend. But a lot of great, just action going on. District tournaments finishing up. Soccer, couple soccer will be done. Boys soccer will be done, I think, pretty much by the end of this week, right? A couple of them, yeah, we'll be pretty much out
playing games on Saturday.
Yeah, right. Playing games Saturday, and unfortunately, you feel bad for those districts that don't get a playing game. I think that's where Ryan and I can agree on big time is having the small conferences is a problem sometimes. So unfortunate to some of those teams. We won't go into that too much, but
just do what 5A football does and go to a 16-team.
Everyone, hey, you get a good tournament. You get a playoff, and you get a playoff.
You get a spot. Yeah, I mean, every that's the balance, right? Is it worth going, getting that spot for what's going to happen? I don't know. You never know. I guess some chances better than not, but hopefully there's some things we can be more progressive here in Idaho. Progressive isn't a word that comes up a lot on these podcasts, but I think some things are going better. But the one thing is, North Idaho might be different. East Idaho might be different, but at the end of the day, everyone comes together to play sports at whatever location it is and does a fantastic job. Our student athletes here in Idaho do. So, no matter how different it is, we can at least come together and have some great competition wherever field or, arena you're at.
Yep. I agree.
100%, man. And this crossover episode has been a little microcosm of that, right? Like life's good when you're hanging out with people who you may not hang out with all the time.
I'm just saying we should have for state, we should be able to come, maybe we bring in someone from Boise. Maybe not. I think we could probably hash it out between us and
we'll
then
just
be like,
take care of it ourselves.
Who's going to win? Who's going to win state, and then kind of rapid fire. That'd be fun too. But anyways, I just thought of that.
That would be a blast. We'll talk about in the post-production. How about that? And hey, if you want to catch any games this weekend, there are some games, even though us three beautiful faces won't be there. There will be some games, including game of the week. That's going to be Fruitland versus Weiser, right, Ryan? And
yes.
And that's going to be our new game of the week since CDA and Post Falls is now on TV. Ryan, what channel is that, by the way, or what production company is doing that one?
It's a local NBC station out of Spokane.
Okay, right on. Right on. No, that's really cool for the kids. Again, this is for the kids, so really cool that they get to be on the local NBC station. But you can catch the game of the week, Fruitland versus Weiser, and other games. Just go to your IdahoSports.com's game streams tab, and you can see what games are going to be live. For Ryan Scaggs from North Idaho Prepcast and Sean Kane from the East Idaho Prepcast, I'm Joel Richardson saying be excellent to each other, and we'll catch you next week on the both North Idaho Prepcast and East Idaho Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.